What's your name?
Onosode Omorife. May you check your own list, cause the list where they outside. Onosode on your name never do.
Your name is Onoriode. You even went as a fashion designer.
As you don't come back, so now I won't go as Akpobori Ovi, and Ovi won't go as pilots.
That is impersonation.
My own share for the national cake be that.
Mr. Onosode.
Akpobori.
The Amnesty Program is an intervention project for sustainable economic development of the Niger Delta, which you are a beneficiary of. Lying under pretext for your selfish gain and advantage is robbing others of the same opportunity. And that is an act of corruption, not in my country.
Stop corruption now.
Corruption not in my country.
Section 6B to D of the Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Act 2000 vests in the Commission the power to instruct and advise any ministry, department, agency or any other public body on its corruption-prone processes and to supervise a review of such processes. This is the main pillar upon which the preventive function of the Commission rests. Today on this edition, we shall focus on the aspect of the Commission's mandate referred to as a system study and review, because you know how they say, prevention is better than cure. I am your host, Murna Barnabas Atiai. First, Hawa Garba is standing by to bring you updates on happenings around the world of the Commission. Over to you, Hawa.
Hello, welcome to this segment of the program. I am Hawa Garba. The Oyo State Governor, Engineer Seyi Makinde, has insisted that he will not hesitate to waive his immunity if called to question concerning corruption. The governor, who spoke at the commissioning of a new ICPC state office building in Ibadan, said that his decision would help set the tone for an effective anti-corruption fight in the state. Makinde, represented by the Secretary to the State Government, Mrs. Olubamiwo Adeosun, stressed that the fight against corruption must be taken seriously by all stakeholders to address the many problems it has caused Nigeria. The governor commended ICPC, saying that he had observed that the Commission had set a high standard in fighting corruption, which should be emulated by other federal government agencies in the state, as Oyo State would adopt ICPC's approach in deepening the anti-corruption effort, especially through the setting up of anti-corruption and transparency units in ministries and departments of the state government.
I must commend the ICPC for the studious methods it has adopted in carrying out its three-pronged mandate of enforcement, prevention, and public education thus far. That has led to the conviction of many public officers and the prosecution of many more. I have also been able to understand, or made to understand, that in the area of prevention, the ICPC has carried out system studies and corruption risk analysis of a number of government agencies who have been involved in anti-corruption and also involved in anti-corruption sensitization drives. I'm sure that in doing this, the Commission is taking a cue from the popular cliche, prevention is better than cure, because corruption doesn't just retard the progress of the nations, it kills ideas, it kills vision, and it leads to the death of many.
Earlier, ICPC Chairman Professor Bolaji Owansonye said that the new office was the beginning of a process that will end rentage of office accommodation across the 15 states where the Commission was present. Owansonye added that 2 new prototype offices were at advanced stages of completion in Sokoto and Adamawa states, respectively.
From inception until now, we have been operating in 15 functional state offices scattered around the 6 geopolitical zones, and each state office covers a contiguous state where we do not have an office. A number of these state offices are operating in rented apartments, and it is important to note that this Oyo State Office of the Commission was established in 2007. Before the complex that we are about to commission today was built, we operated from rented premises first at University Crescent and later on to one within the Bodija housing estate on Obalate Rolabegi Street. Apart from the amount that he was spending on rent, the premises were not suitable for a law enforcement agency because it was not purpose-built and it lacked quite a number of necessary features for the discharge of our mandate. Our intention is to replicate what we have here in all the 36 states of the Federation in order to have the enabling environment that our staff and officers need to efficiently fulfill our statutory mandate of fighting corruption. At the moment, we have 2 other prototype office buildings being built almost to completion in Sokoto and another one in Adamawa State.
Present at the commissioning were chairmen and members of the National Assembly Anti-Corruption Committees, top security heads including the General Officer commanding 2 Division Nigerian Army, Major General A.B. Omosogie, Attorneys General of Oyo, Ogun, and Osun States, Speaker of the Oyo State House of Assembly, and many other top state government functionaries. A deputy director with the Sokoto State Scholarship Board, Mohammed Buhari Yusuf, has been arraigned by ICPC for forgery. Yusuf was brought before Honorable Justice Muhammad Muhammad of the Sokoto State High Court No. 7 on a 3-count charge for allegedly signing and issuing forged scholarship sponsorship letters to 3 students who used same to gain entry visas to the United Kingdom from the British High Commission in Abuja. The offense is contrary and punishable under Section 19 of the Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Act 2000. ICPC's prosecution counsel, Mashkur Salisu Esquire, told the court that the accused, who is serving as the deputy director in charge of international student matters of the scholarship board, knowingly made a false statement to an officer of the British High Commission through the misleading documents. The offense also contravenes Section 25 subsection 1b and punishable under Section 25 subsection 1b of the Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Act 2000. He pleaded not guilty to all the charges preferred against him, while the defense counsel Nuhu Aminu and Farouk Abdullahi prayed the court to grant bail to their clients on liberal terms. Counsel to ICPC, while not objecting on the bail application, however, urged that the courts grant the bail with reasonable sureties that would ensure the attendance of the accused at his trial. Justice Muhammad thereafter granted the accused person bail in the sum of 100,000 naira and the surety who must be on grade level 15 in the Sokoto State Civil Service with landed property. The judge further adjourned the matter to 12 March 2020 for commencement of hearing. This is the much this segment can take. Stay with us as Corruption Must Go continues with Murna. Over to you, Murna.
Corruption not in my country.
This CV is for Eugenia here. She's here for the vacancy. See to the CV and she got the job.
Could you please wait for me at the reception? But sir.
Yes?
She studied physical and health education.
Yes?
We already shortlisted 3 qualified candidates for the job. They all studied accounting. With all due respect, sir, we need qualified people in the accounts department. People who are good with figures.
How do you know that she does not understand what figures are?
But why do we need a square peg in a round hole?
What is important here is to fill in the vacancy. Anyhow, I will take.
I can't be a part of this. That is a language of corruption. And corruption, not in my country.
Corruption not in my country.
If you're just tuning in, this is Corruption Must Go. It should be noted that in the course of the Commission's system study exercise over time, there have been indications of systemic dysfunction, inadvertent breaches of regulations, ignorance of proper procedures, and sometimes willful violation of laid-down rules of doing business by public officials in government organizations. The head of Planning, Research and Review Department, ICPC, tells us more on how well system study is helping to curb the occurrence of corruption in MDAs.
System study and review is one of the preventive measures designed by the Commission to reduce the scourge of corruption in federal ministry departments and agencies. And it is to study the processes and procedure of government institutions. And unlike investigation, the Commission does not need to wait for a petition before we embark on a system study and review of any organization. And it is an holistic exercise. Holistic in the sense that we are going to study the process and procedure of that organization, BU, recruitment, procurement, accounting, and what have you concerning that organization. So it's a very broad area which involves studying the entire organization. So, and the system study, the import of system study cannot be overemphasized because of the achievement it has recorded since the establishment of the Commission in reducing the incidence of corruption at federal ministry departments and agencies of government. In conducting a system study exercise, system study and review exercise of any organization, we always look for 4 thematic areas in line with the system study manual. And that is 1, we look at the structure of the organization. 2, system and processes of the organization. 3, the culture of the organization. 4, stakeholders' perception. After the conclusion of the exercise, what they will do is to do a formal report. And in that report, there will be findings. You understand? They will write out the findings as well as the recommendations. After this, they will submit it to the Honorable Chairman of the Commission. The Honorable Chairman will now direct that the report should be forwarded to the organization for their reaction. And where there are infractions like embezzlement of funds and all whatnot, the chairman can now direct for enforcement action by directing the director of operations to cause investigation into that particular infraction. And besides this, we normally have what we call integrity plan based on the recommendation, which is short, medium, and long term. Like an organization that does not have an ATU, that's Anti-Corruption Transparency Unit, which each ministry, department, and agency has been directed by federal government to establish. That's a short term. It's a matter of telling that organization to liaise with the Corruption Monitoring and Evaluation Department of the Commission to ensure that that unit is established, and that can be done within under a month. So that's a short term. And for those, maybe they don't have host a website, it can be medium like that. So there is an integrity plan which will be followed to the latter, that to ensure that everything is complied with based on the recommendation made by that study team. The Commission conducted the system study of Directorate of Road Traffic Service, Federal Capital Territory, some years back. Prior to the commencement of the exercise, the agency used to collect money, that is fiscal cash, from their clients. And the study team realized that in the course of their interaction with stakeholders' perception that there are a lot of corruption involved in that process. So they recommended that collection of cash should be stopped, and it was all the recommendation made, and this organization stopped the collection of cash, and so they stopped the interface with the staff of the agency. And the agency later alluded to the fact that that recommendation has helped them a lot, apart from the fact that it has led to the increase in their revenue profile. It has also reduced the scourge of corruption in the system. That is for the Director of Road Traffic Service in Abuja. In 2018, we were at NEPSA, that's the Export Processing Zone Authority. There was a vote, a particular vote, where over 1 billion naira was in that vote, and it was meant for a special project. But the study team realized that the money was just being spent on other issues. So they now recommended that the Commission should place post-note debit on that particular account, which we did. And it really helped because the money actually went back to the coffers of government. 2 years ago too, we were at a federal teaching hospitals, 4 of them. And the recommendation made, which is being implemented by the teaching hospital, has actually improved the processes in that particular teaching hospitals. Likewise, federal medical centers. When the current board came on board, the board directed that the Commission should carry out a personnel cost and capital development cost of federal ministry departmental agencies, and we are able to cover 201. And in the course of the exercise, we were able to restrain the sum of 41.98 billion in 2019, which will have gone into the covers of unscrupulous government officials. And you can agree with me that that's quite big. So that is what we were able to achieve under the personnel cost, under the system study review conducted in 201 organizations last year by the Commission.
Welcome back. You have heard a whopping 41.98 billion naira was discovered to have been padded onto the personnel costs of some MDAs in 2019 alone. Do you know that this sum of money, according to the Nigerian Institute of Quantity Surveyors, is enough to construct 774 standard primary health centers, popularly known as dispensaries, across the Federation to enable rural dwellers access primary health care services? Oh, do you know that the same amount can sink at least 2 boreholes in each of the 8,809 electoral wards in Nigeria to provide rural people with portable drinking water? This money could have found its way into the pockets of a few individuals if not for the intervention of the Commission through its system study and review. It's obvious that the importance of system study and review as an effective corruption prevention strategy in the public service cannot be overemphasized. It serves to complement the other 2 important duties of the Commission, namely prosecution and public enlightenment as well as education. That's our package on today's edition. Remember, you can make enquiries and suggestions via our toll-free numbers as shown on the screen. You can also watch the program and other previous editions on our YouTube channel, www.youtube.com/ICPC Nigeria. Bye for now.